Hello again, champions. Welcome back to the Self-Help Podcast, your weekly dose of motivation every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am Pham, the creator of this show and your companion on this incredible journey of life transformation. This is episode 8, and if you are new here, welcome to a community where we discover all the right tools and the right mindsets to help you master your personal growth. Every single week we unlock science-backed strategies to help you master yourself, grow stronger, and level up in every area of your life. If you are ready to boost your productivity, build unshakable confidence, and create lasting change that actually sticks, you are exactly where you need to be. And before we dive into today's powerful conversation, I want you to know that everything we cover today, all the resources, the free templates, the actionable guides, the step-by-step frameworks, they are all waiting for you right in the video description below. So just relax, listen deeply, and absorb what resonates with you. Today we are talking about something that changed my entire trajectory: how to dominate your industry in 90 days using Napoleon Hill's timeless principles. Let us dive in. You know, I need to start this episode with something really vulnerable, something really honest. About 3 years ago, I remember sitting in my office feeling completely invisible. And I mean completely invisible. Here I was, working hard every single day, showing up consistently, delivering quality work, pouring my heart into everything I did, and yet nobody knew who I was. My competitors, they seemed to get all the attention. They were landing the big opportunities. They were building these influential networks. They were getting featured, getting invited to speak, getting all the recognition. Meanwhile, I was just grinding away in obscurity, working harder and harder but feeling like I was getting nowhere. I was stuck. And I will be honest with you, there were nights when I was even crying because I knew my competitors were all ahead of me and doing way much better than me. I felt like I was failing. Like maybe I did not have what it takes. Like maybe I was in the wrong field, or maybe I just was not cut out for this. That is when I discovered something that changed everything for me: Napoleon Hill's principles on dominating your industry. And what surprised me the most was not how complex the strategy was, it was actually how simple it is when you break it down. I had been making everything so complicated, trying all these different tactics, chasing every new trend, and the answer was right there in these timeless principles. More importantly, I discovered that age is completely irrelevant. Whether you are 25 or 45 or 60, these principles work. I have seen them work for people starting completely fresh in their 40s, building influence and authority faster than people half their age who have been in the industry for years. Today I want to share with you the exact framework that transformed not just my career but the careers of dozens of people I have worked with over the years. This is not about luck. This is not about being in the right place at the right time or knowing the right people from the start. This is about a deliberate, strategic approach to becoming undeniable in your field. So let us start from the very beginning, because I think this is where most people get confused. Before we dive into the how, we need to define what dominating your industry actually means, because here is where most people get it wrong and this misconception stops them before they even start. Dominating does not mean crushing your competition or being aggressive or being ruthless. That is a misconception that keeps people from pursuing what they actually deserve. They think dominating means you have to be this cutthroat person, this aggressive person who steps on everyone to get to the top. That is not what we're talking about here at all. Dominating your industry means becoming the person that people think of first when they need what you offer. It means being recognized as an authority in your space. It means that when people talk about your field, your name comes up naturally in the conversation. It is about influence, not aggression. It is about being indispensable, not being intimidating. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply. Throughout his research interviewing the most successful people of his time, and we are talking about people like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, all these incredibly successful people, he discovered a pattern. The people who dominated their industries were the ones who combined skill with visibility, integrity with strategy, and hard work with smart positioning. They were not just good at what they did, they made sure people knew they were good at what they did. And here is the thing that most people miss completely: you can accomplish this in just 90 days if you follow the system. Now let me be clear, I am not saying you will become a millionaire in 90 days. I am not selling you that fantasy. That is not what this is about. But you can absolutely shift your trajectory, increase your visibility dramatically, establish yourself as someone worth knowing, and create momentum that carries forward for years. I have seen it happen repeatedly and I have experienced it myself. So let us break down exactly how you do this. The first pillar, and this is absolutely foundational, you have to get super clear on your unique value proposition. The first reason most people fail to dominate their industry is that they never get clear on what makes them uniquely valuable. You see this all the time, and maybe you have done this yourself. Someone is incredibly talented, they have all the skills, they have the experience, but they describe themselves in these vague terms that could apply to 100 other people. They say they are a consultant, an entrepreneur, a coach, a freelancer. Everyone says that. There is nothing memorable about it. There is nothing that makes someone think, oh, I need to know this person, I need to work with this person. Napoleon Hill emphasized the importance of specialization over and over again in his work. In his research, he found that the people who dominated their fields were almost never generalists. They were specialists. They had narrowed their focus to something specific, something they could own, something they could become known for. Let me give you a real example because I think this will make it much clearer. A few years ago, I met a woman named Sarah who was really struggling in the coaching industry. She was a life coach, which is a vague title that is used by thousands and thousands of people. She was competent, she was genuinely helpful, she had good training, but she was invisible. Nobody could find her. She was getting lost in this ocean of other life coaches. We sat down together and got really specific about what she actually did best and what made her different from everyone else doing similar work. Turns out Sarah had this unique gift for helping corporate professionals transition into entrepreneurship. She understood that specific pain point intimately because she had lived it herself. She knew the psychological barriers, the financial concerns, the identity shifts that happen when someone leaves corporate security to start their own thing. She had been through that entire journey. Nobody else in her market was specifically addressing that transition with her depth of experience and her understanding of both worlds. We repositioned her as the corporate to entrepreneur transition specialist. Suddenly she was no longer competing in a crowded ocean of generic life coaches. She had carved out her own lane. Within 90 days of implementing this new positioning, her inquiries tripled. People were specifically seeking her out because she was the only person doing that specific thing in that specific way. This is the power of clarity, and I cannot stress this enough. When you get specific about your unique value, 3 things happen almost immediately. First, you become memorable. People can actually remember you. They can describe you to others accurately. Instead of saying, oh yeah, I know this life coach, they say, oh, you are leaving corporate to start a business, you have to talk to Sarah, she specializes in exactly that transition. Second, you attract the right people. Not everyone, but the people who desperately need exactly what you offer. Quality over quantity always. Third, you eliminate most of your competition. When you are specific enough, you are not competing with thousands of generalists anymore. You are the only person doing what you do in that specific way. So before we go any further in this episode, I want you to really think about this. What is the specific transformation you create? What is the unique combination of skills and experience and perspective that you bring to the table? What problem do you solve that very few others can solve in the way you solve it? If you are listening to this while driving or working out, make a mental note. If you are at home, write this down right now. Get specific. This is your foundation. Everything else we talk about today builds on this foundation. If you skip this step, nothing else will work as well as it should. The second pillar is creating valuable content that demonstrates your authority. Now, Napoleon Hill lived before the internet existed, obviously, but his principles about sharing knowledge and demonstrating expertise are more relevant now than ever before. The path to dominating your industry in today's world is creating content that showcases your expertise. But here is the key: not promotional content, not salesy content, but genuinely valuable content that solves real problems people are facing right now. Here is why this works so powerfully. When you create content that helps people, you are simultaneously building trust and demonstrating competence at the same time. People experience the value you provide before they ever hire you or pay you or work with you. They get to know how you think, what you value, what you prioritize, how you approach problems. By the time they are ready to work with you, they already believe in you. They are already sold. During my own journey, and this was a turning point for me, I committed to publishing one substantial piece of content per week. Sometimes it was a long-form article like the one this episode is based on. Sometimes it was a video essay. Sometimes it was a detailed guide or a tutorial. The content was always focused on one thing, providing genuine value to my target audience. Not trying to sell them something, not trying to promote myself, just genuinely trying to help them solve a problem or understand something better. The shift was immediate, and it honestly surprised me how fast it happened. People started reaching out saying, "I have been following your content for months. When you are ready to work with clients, I want to be one of them." They were essentially pre-qualified, pre-sold, because they had already experienced the value I could deliver through my free content. This is what most people get wrong about content creation, and I see this mistake all the time. They think the goal is to go viral or get likes or build a massive following of hundreds of thousands of people. But that is not the goal for dominating your industry. The goal is to create content that attracts the specific people you want to work with and demonstrates unequivocally that you know what you are talking about. Think about it this way. If you are trying to dominate the executive coaching space, you do not need 1 million followers. You need 1,000 truly engaged people who recognize you as an expert in executive coaching. 1,000 people who will hire you, refer you to others, collaborate with you, and evangelize for you. 1,000 raving fans is more valuable than 1 million casual followers who do not really care about what you do. The way you attract those 1,000 people is through content that is so good, so useful, so aligned with their needs that they cannot help but pay attention. They cannot help but share it. They cannot help but remember you. And here is something I learned that I want to share with you. Consistency matters more than perfection. I published content every week even when I did not feel like it, even when I thought it was not my best work, even when I was tired or busy or stressed. That consistency built trust. People knew they could count on me to show up. They knew I was serious. And over time, my content got better because I was doing it so regularly. I was learning what resonated, what did not, what questions people had, what problems they were struggling with. Now the third pillar, and this one is huge, building strategic relationships with key people in your industry. One of the most transformative principles from Napoleon Hill's work is the concept of the Mastermind Alliance. In simple terms, it means surrounding yourself with people who are ahead of you, people who are aligned with you, and people who are willing to share knowledge. Dominating your industry is not a solo sport. I need you to hear that again. It is not a solo sport. The people who truly become influential, the people who truly dominate their fields, are the ones who build strategic relationships intentionally. I learned this lesson the hard way, and it cost me probably 2 years of progress. For years I tried to build my career in isolation, thinking I just needed to work harder and create better content and eventually people would notice. Then I realized I was missing a crucial element. I had not intentionally built relationships with people who could amplify my message or open doors or collaborate with me. I was working in a vacuum. So I made a deliberate decision to invest in relationships. Not networking in that superficial sense. I never enjoyed those awkward cocktail parties where everyone is trying to pitch everyone else and exchange business cards. I mean genuine relationships with people doing interesting work in my space, people I actually respected and wanted to learn from. I reached out to people I admired. I offered value first. I shared their work with my audience. I interviewed them on my platforms. I connected them with opportunities when I could. I was not transactional about it. I was genuinely interested in their work and their perspective and what they were building. And something beautiful happened over time. They became allies. They started recommending me to their audiences. They collaborated with me on projects. They introduced me to their networks. Within 90 days of intentionally building these relationships, my sphere of influence expanded dramatically. Not because I asked for help directly, but because I had invested in real relationships where mutual benefit was just natural. Here is the system for doing this in your own industry, and you can start this today. First, identify 15 to 20 people who are already where you want to be or who are moving in that direction. These should be people doing work you genuinely respect, people who are already established or emerging as voices in your field. Write down their names. Second, reach out to each of them with a genuine specific message. Not a generic template that you copy and paste to 50 people. A real message about why you admire their specific work, what you learned from them, what resonated with you. Most people will not respond to generic outreach, but many will respond to genuine appreciation. Third, offer value without expecting anything in return. Share their work with your audience. Interview them if you have a platform. Collaborate on something. Connect them with an opportunity. Be the person who adds to their life, not the person who is just asking for something. Fourth, build the relationship from a place of genuine interest first, business second. Do not go into it thinking, what can this person do for me? Go into it thinking, this person is doing interesting work and I want to learn from them and support them. By the end of 90 days, you will have built relationships with people who can amplify your message and open doors. These are the people who move the needle in your career. I cannot overstate how important this pillar is. Some of the biggest opportunities in my career came through relationships I built intentionally during those 90 days. The fourth pillar, and this is a subtle but crucial distinction, position yourself as a problem solver, not a service provider. Napoleon Hill made this distinction repeatedly in his work. There is a huge difference between being someone who provides a service and being someone who solves problems. When you position yourself as a service provider, you are competing on price and credentials and availability. When you position yourself as a problem solver, you are competing on results and relevance. The latter is infinitely more valuable. Let me give you another real example. I had a client named Michael who was a very talented marketer. He positioned himself as a digital marketing specialist available for freelance projects. He was competing on an hourly rate with 1,000 other freelancers offering essentially the same service. He was good at what he did, but he was stuck in this commodity market where clients were always trying to negotiate his rates down and he was always competing with people who were willing to work for less. We sat down and repositioned him. We changed his positioning to the person companies hire when their marketing is broken and they cannot figure out why. Suddenly his positioning shifted from being a commodity to being a specialist who solves a specific acute problem. Same skills. Same experience. Completely different positioning. His rates doubled within 60 days because he was no longer in a commodity market. He was in a problem-solving market. The way you position yourself as a problem solver is by consistently talking about the problems you solve, the results you create, and the transformations you enable. Not the tactics you use or the credentials you have or how many years of experience you have, but the outcomes your work produces. What changes in people's lives or businesses because they worked with you? When you do this consistently through your content, through your conversations, through all your positioning, you stop being just another option. You become the option for people facing that specific problem. Now we get to the practical execution, and this is where the rubber meets the road. The fifth pillar is creating your 90-day action plan. Because knowing these principles is one thing. Actually implementing them in a structured way over 90 days is what produces real results. Here is the framework I recommend, and this is the exact framework I used and that I have taught to dozens of other people. Days 1 through 30, this is your foundation building phase. Your first month is about establishing your foundation. Get crystal clear on your unique value proposition. Create your positioning statement. Set up your primary content platform, whether that is a blog or a YouTube channel or a podcast or LinkedIn or whatever platform makes sense for your industry. Identify your 15 to 20 strategic relationship targets. Write down their names. Start researching them. Figure out how you can add value to them. During this first month, your goal is not to be perfect. Let me say that again, your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to be consistent and clear. Launch your first pieces of content even if they are not perfect. Reach out to your first strategic relationship targets even if you feel a little nervous about it. Get the basics in place. Build momentum. That is what month 1 is about. Days 31 through 60, this is your momentum building phase. By this point you have your foundation. You have clarity on your positioning. You have published some content. You have reached out to some people. Now you are building momentum. You are consistently publishing content and your content is getting better because you are doing it regularly and learning from feedback. You are seeing what resonates, what gets responses, what questions people ask. You have started conversations with strategic partners. Some of those conversations are developing into real relationships. During this phase, look actively for collaboration opportunities. Can you interview someone for your content? Can you be interviewed on someone else's platform? Can you co-create something together, maybe a guide or a webinar or a workshop? This is where the Mastermind Alliance starts creating those exponential effects that Napoleon Hill talked about. This is where 1 + 1 = 5 instead of 2. Days 61 through 90, this is your authority establishment phase. By the final month, you have done the groundwork. You have consistent content showing your expertise. You have relationships developing. You have momentum. Now is when you leverage all of that into visible authority. This might mean speaking on a panel in your industry. This might mean publishing a definitive guide that becomes the resource people reference. This might mean launching a challenge or a workshop that attracts a bunch of people. This might mean getting featured in a major publication in your space or being interviewed on a significant podcast. The specific action matters less than the intention. You are consolidating all the work you have done over the past 60 days into visible, undeniable authority. By day 90, you will have shifted. People will know who you are. They will know what you do. They will know you are serious about your field. That is what it means to dominate your industry. Now I want to talk about something that does not get discussed enough. The mindset behind this entire strategy. Because all of these tactics only work if your mindset is right. And this is where Napoleon Hill's philosophy goes deeper than just strategies and tactics. He understood that success starts in the mind before it manifests in reality. To dominate your industry, you have to believe two things deeply, not just intellectually but deeply in your bones. First, you have to believe that you deserve to be at the top of your field. Not in an arrogant way, not in a way that puts other people down, but in a clear matter-of-fact way. You have to recognize your value. You have to know that your work matters and that you have unique contributions to make. So many talented people never dominate their industries because they do not fundamentally believe they deserve to. They are waiting for permission. They are waiting for proof. They are waiting for someone to validate them and tell them they are good enough. But that validation will never come the way you want it to. You have to give it to yourself first. You have to decide that you deserve to be visible, you deserve to be recognized, you deserve to be at the top of your field. Second, you have to believe that your success does not come at anyone else's expense. This is so important. You can dominate your industry and build genuine relationships. You can be ambitious and generous at the same time. You can succeed while lifting others up. In fact, the most successful people I know, the people who have truly dominated their industries and sustained that success over decades, they all operate from that philosophy. They understand that there is enough success to go around. They understand that helping others succeed does not diminish their own success, it actually amplifies it. When you combine these two beliefs, genuine confidence in your value plus genuine commitment to helping others, something shifts. People feel it. They want to work with you. They want to collaborate with you. They want to support you. Because you are not coming from a place of scarcity or fear or competition. You are coming from a place of abundance and generosity and confidence. Now let me tell you what actually changes when you implement this system over 90 days, because I have seen this happen consistently with myself and with the people I have worked with. Your visibility increases dramatically. You stop being the hidden expert. You stop being the person working hard in obscurity. People know who you are and what you do. Your credibility strengthens. You have demonstrated your expertise through your content and through your relationships. People trust you. They see you as someone who knows what they are talking about. Your network expands in a meaningful way. You have intentional strategic relationships instead of just a random collection of contacts you met at networking events. Your opportunities increase. Once you are visible and credible with a strong network, opportunities start finding you instead of you having to chase them. And perhaps most importantly, your confidence transforms. By the end of 90 days, you will feel fundamentally different about your place in your industry. You will show up differently. You will communicate differently. You will carry yourself differently. This is not about overnight success, and I want to be really clear about that because I do not want to mislead you. This is about deliberate positioning that creates momentum. Momentum that, if you maintain it, continues building for years. The 90 days is just the beginning. It is the foundation. It is the launch pad. But if you do it right, the momentum you create in those 90 days carries forward and compounds over time. So here is what I want you to do after you finish listening to this episode. Step 1. Define your unique value proposition clearly. Write it down. Do not just think about it. Write it down. Get specific. What is the transformation you create? Who do you serve? What problem do you solve? This is your foundation. Step 2. Commit to a content creation schedule for the next 90 days. One piece of valuable content per week minimum. More if possible, but at least one piece. Put it on your calendar. Make it non-negotiable. Step 3. Identify your 15 to 20 strategic relationship targets. Write down their names. Start researching them. Figure out how you can add value to their work or their life. Step 4. Create your 90-day action plan. What will you do in month 1? What will you do in month 2? What will you do in month 3? Be specific. Write it down. Step 5. Start. Do not wait for everything to be perfect. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait until you have more time or more resources or more confidence. Start now with what you have. 90 days seems like a long time when you are in the middle of it. The days can feel slow. You might feel like you are not making progress. But it goes faster than you think. And at the end of it, you will not be the same person who started. You will have shifted your position in your industry. You will have momentum. You will have become undeniable. That is what it means to dominate your industry. And I am telling you from personal experience and from watching this happen with so many other people, it is absolutely within your reach. Your industry is waiting for you to show up fully. Your competitors are actually banking on you not doing this work. They are hoping you will stay invisible. They are hoping you will stay stuck. Your future clients are out there right now looking for someone exactly like you. They are searching for the solution you provide. They are asking questions that you have the answers to. The only question is, are you ready to claim that space? Are you ready to step out of obscurity and into visibility? Are you ready to do the work over the next 90 days that will transform your position in your industry? I believe you are. I believe that if you are still listening to this episode right now, you are someone who is ready. Now go dominate your industry. And that brings us to the close of today's episode, champions. I really hope you discovered something valuable here today, something that you can immediately put into action to transform not just your career but your entire trajectory in your industry. If this episode resonated with you, if something I said today clicked and made sense and inspired you, please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss our Tuesday morning conversations. We have got some incredible episodes coming up that I think you are going to love. And listen, share this episode with someone who needs to hear this message. Someone who is stuck in obscurity like I was 3 years ago. Someone who is talented but invisible. Someone who is ready to finally step into their power and dominate their industry. When we lift each other up, we all rise together as champions. Now remember, I have put together all the resources we discussed today in the video description below. You will find 90-day planning templates, content creation schedules, relationship building frameworks, positioning worksheets, everything you need to actually implement this strategy starting today. And if you want to dive even deeper into mastering your focus, overcoming your fears, and killing procrastination once and for all, I have written 3 books available on Amazon Kindle. The Focus Unleashed, where you will learn to master the art of laser focus and skyrocket your productivity. The Death of Fear, where you will break free from fear and build lasting confidence. And the Procrastination Killers, where you will go from stuck to unstoppable by building your peak productivity system. Feel free to check them out, give them a read, and let me know what you think. I read every message, every email, every comment. And hey, when you complete your 90 days and you have dominated your industry, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Send me an email. Send me a message on Instagram. I want to hear your story. I want to congratulate you. I want to celebrate your success with you. Make sure to check out my collection of beautifully handcrafted motivational quotes on Instagram to brighten your day. You can find me at author_Diep. Again, thank you so much for spending this time with me today, champions. Thank you for investing in yourself. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being willing to do the work that most people are not willing to do. I am Pham, the creator of this podcast, and I am honored to be your companion on this path of transformation. Until next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, stay intentional, stay strategic, and keep building the empire you are meant to create. You have got this, champion. Now go make it happen.